Hi, I'm Shannon from Animal Love Languages. I am an animal sensitive and intuitive, an animal communicator. This is my ever-present feathery sidekick, Pearl Cuts, and today we're here to talk to you about the 5 ways that your animal communicates with you. To start off, I'll just ask you a simple question. Have you ever watched one of those National Geographic nature documentaries? You know, the ones where there is a single lush and verdant watering hole positioned smack dab in the middle of a burning desert. And it looks like the Garden of Eden with all the happy interspecies herds and flocks and prides just peacefully drinking together. And you're just lulled into this sense of complacency until all of a sudden something shifts. The lions develop a gleam in their eyes. The gazelles begin to pace in place nervously. They're flicking their tails or scenting the air. Then all at once, complete pandemonium breaks out. Hundreds of gazelles go galloping off at top speed across the flat grassy plains with the big cats in hot pursuit. What happened? How did the gazelles know when it was safe to approach the watering hole to drink and when it was time to run for their lives? Communication. That's what happened. Animal communication is called the universal language of all species for a reason. All species know how to speak this language. This includes the human animal, Homo sapiens, you and me, us. So why does animal communication sound so exotic to us? Why do we assume that only special people can talk to animals? Why do some of us hear the phrase animal communicator and think, yeah, right, as if? Like, really? That's so woo. Why don't we remember that we too possess this ability? We actually do remember. Right now, think back to the last time when you had a hunch, a gut instinct, and you ignored it, only to live to deeply regret it later. For example, did you ever go to a restaurant to eat and something about your dinner just tasted or felt off? But you brushed off the vibe and you ate it all anyway, and then spent the entire night suffering with the worst case of food poisoning? I know that's happened to me. You knew it, you just disregarded what you knew. And now think of a time when you didn't ignore your intuition and it led you unerringly towards success. For instance, how did you know to say yes to that second date, even after a really iffy first date with your now partner? You just did. It felt right. So you kept saying yes, and now they are your happily ever after. Thank goodness you didn't say no, right? But if you had to explain your decision to somebody, you might be hard pressed to put your knowing into words. There's a reason for this. Animal communication is two-way communication that takes place on every level where information can be exchanged. Seeing, hearing, smelling and tasting, feeling, sensing, knowing. And what about the thinking and speaking, you may be wondering? Thinking is also involved, but only to the level required and only for human to human communication in most cases. Thinking can help humans make mental sense of how the information is coming in, whether it is a feeling, a sensing, a picture, a smell, a taste, or just a deep knowing. In this case, you can think of the mind as a processing center. It receives the multisensory input and outputs it into words to help you understand what is being communicated and what to do next. Non-human animals don't need to express everything in words. This is because they trust the other communication pathways fully. Having to verbalize everything is an extra step, a step that costs precious time and possibly your life, at least when you are still a card-carrying member of the greater food chain of life. Here's another example that many dog parents can relate to. This is an example my own teacher shared with us to prove that you and your animal are already using the universal language of all species to communicate with each other. Have you ever tried to train your animal to do something you want them to do, or untrain them from doing something you don't want them to do? Let's say your dog always jumps up on the couch no matter how many times you try to train him not to do this. You feel so frustrated, right? To you, the message is so clear. Max, down, off the couch. Now, off the couch. And what does Max do? He jumps right back up onto the couch again. Why? Why is this happening? Your words are telling Max to get off of the couch. But now tune into what you are seeing in your mind. What is the picture you see on your inner visual screen? If you are like most frustrated pet parents, you are probably seeing and projecting a mental picture of Max sitting on the couch. Well, Max is also seeing this mental picture. It is quicker and clearer as a communication tool than your words, and Max trusts this form of communication completely. So Max tunes into your mental picture of him sitting on the couch, and it makes so much sense to him. Oh, good, my person wants me to jump up and sit on the couch. Cool, I love the couch. I can do that. To make matters even more conflicting, you are feeling very frustrated and irritated emotionally as you yell at Max to get off the couch. Max tunes into your emotional frustration, sees the mental picture of himself sitting on the couch that you are projecting, and eagerly jumps back up onto the couch so you can calm down and feel better. You can kind of start to see where we're going with this, right? In other words, Max will just keep jumping up onto the couch and sitting there, getting dog hair and doggy odor all over your new pristine cushions until your words and your mental picture and your emotional state all match. You will need to send Max a clear mental picture of him sitting on his dog bed and pair that with a feeling of happiness and pride that he is such a good boy for sitting on his dog bed. And last but not least, it won't hurt to add the words, Max, good boy, go to your dog bed. When you are congruent on all sensory levels with your communication, Max will be able to receive your request clearly understand what you are asking him to do, and then go do it. Now, that was a very simple example. And I am not a professional dog trainer. As I mentioned, that is just an example that really resonated with me when I first started studying with my animal communication teacher. However, as you can see, it's just a tiny tip of the iceberg of a rich topic that offers so much that's worthy to explore and uncover and experience. The truth is, our animals have been speaking this universal language of all species their whole lives, but most of us are just now starting to learn it. It will take practice, lots of practice, for us to become fluent in what is essentially our own innate native tongue. So you can start by opening back up to information that comes in through channels other than just through your thoughts and your words and your mind. Tune back into information you are receiving on your own sensory channels. Try not to put what you are receiving into words first, at least not until the sensation itself is clear. You can start by asking yourself these questions. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell or taste? How do I feel? What do I know? Start with simple things. Would your cat like to be petted? Ask her inside by sending her a mental picture of a cat being petted. Notice how you feel. Did you get a sensory yes? A no? Is your turtle hungry? Ask him inside by sending hunger pangs and a mental picture of his favorite food. Notice what you receive. Is your belly suddenly rumbling? Did you start to drool? Would your parrot like to come out of his cage? Send him a mental picture of the cage door opening and him flying or climbing out. Notice what happens next. Does your bird hop over to sit closer to the cage door? Do you suddenly feel like there is wind whooshing through your wings? Is your dog ready for her walk? Send her a mental picture of you attaching her leash and heading out the back door together. Does your dog suddenly appear at your side and look up at you eagerly? In each case, you got your answer and you never once had to use words. So often we fail to realize that thinking thoughts and speaking them out as words is just one of many communication tools at our disposal. This isn't to say that animals never use words. A friend of mine once said to me, "Every species knows something all the others don't." I believe this with my whole heart. Each species has their own language, whether it be through chirps, barks, meows, pheromones, body language, colors, or something else. When animals speak with their people, if they choose to use words, they will typically choose a single word, a few words, or at most a short phrase, and it will arrive inside your mind, often with a mental picture, feeling, sensing, or knowing attached. The sooner and the more you practice sending and receiving messages on all of the available sensory channels, the faster you will rekindle your innate ability to speak the shared universal language of all species with your own animal. To get started, remember this: your animal communicates with you in these 5 primary ways: seeing, hearing, smelling or tasting, feeling or sensing, and knowing. Are you listening? I hope you have enjoyed this brief introduction to animal love languages and the 5 ways that your animal communicates with you. If you found this video valuable, please like and subscribe and share it with a friend who loves animals as much as you do. It's been my pleasure and my joy to share this information with you today, and I look forward to being with you again soon. Okay, bye for now.